Vishnu had to take the avatar of Mohini, a charming woman, in order to distract the attention of the asuras from Amrita, which had come out during Samudra Manthan. Shiva had watched this. He came to worship Vishnu. Later on, he was welcomed. Shiva was accompanied by Gauri, his wife. All the gods worship you, said Mahadev, addressing Bhagwan Vishnu. We too have come to pay obeisance. You are the reason for all existence. You permeate every particle of the universe. I have been to witness to your many incarnations. I have worshipped you in all forms. Now I request you to reveal to me your avatar as Mohini. When you successfully offered Amrit to the Devatas, alone to the exclusion of the Asuras. Bhagwan smiled and observed, there was a chance of the Amrit Kalsh being usurped by the Asuras. I could not let that happen. I could not permit evil to triumph, much less become immortalized. I assumed Mohini's form to divert the attention of the Asuras from the pitcher containing Amrita. Remember that form is meant for the lusty and licentious because it arouses kama in the minds of the onlookers, concluded Vishnu. Saying this, Bhagwan disappeared from the scene. Shankar and Gauri sat there looking around and waiting. Now see what happened. All of a sudden the place was transformed into a vast garden with an eye-catching layout. Amalta's trees bloomed with huge bunches of yellow flowers drooping downwards. It looked as if Bhagwan had covered the earth with a tapestry of gold. Under the trees, white swans floated leisurely in a pond of crystal clear water. Nearby, mahua trees had been planted that bore plum-colored, musk-scented flowers so dear to birds and animals. Soon, Shiva and Parvati noticed a stunning woman playing with a ball in the garden. She had draped a heavy brocade sari around her hips. Strings of beads hung from her golden waistband. These made a tinkling sound as she jumped to catch the ball that she had thrown upwards a moment earlier. When she jumped playfully, her breasts and the necklaces lying on them moved up and down. Shiva was devastated. He was losing control over his senses, although his wife was present. Mohini had a slim waist that seemed fragile, about to break with the weight of her firm breasts. She walked with a sensuous gait, on lotus feet, young and tender like buds. Now and then she kicked the ball with her feet. Her eyes were restless. Her golden earrings were reflected in her shining soft cheeks. Her dark curls fell over her eyes when she jumped and ran to catch the ball. Mohini rearranged her clothing with her delicate fingertips whenever her sari slipped on her hair or her hair bun came loose. The entire universe stood in thrall looking at her antics, so did Shankara, who had lost his heart to her. Look what happens when you lose your heart to somebody. For Shankara, it was a heady infatuation. He is supposed to be the greatest sannyasi in the world. He forgot the presence of Parvati who looked at her husband with pity. Was he the same yogi who had reduced Kamadeva to ashes when the latter tried to entice him to Parvati's charms? At one point, Mohini lost the ball in the bushes. As she ran after it, Shankara followed her, trying to be helpful. Meanwhile, her sari had been blown upwards by a strong breeze. Soon it came loose, and along with her waistband flew away with the wind. Now think of a woman running like that and Shiva chasing her. It's quite a situation. This exposure excited Shankara no end. He was impervious to the presence of Uma and his attendants. He was making an idiot of himself. Such was the power of Kam. It was as if Kamadeva was having the last laugh. Mohini stood still, turned around, looked into the eyes of Shiva, who was desperately chasing her. He was convinced that she too had fallen in love with him. What a make-believe. He had lost his discretion, his balance of mind. Ignoring Uma's presence shamelessly, he advanced towards Mohini to get hold of her. Mohini stood there stark naked, ashamed at being stared at by Shankara. She ran to hide behind one tree, then another. Shankara was losing after her like an elephant in a mast. Cornering her in a bower covered by creepers, he pulled at her bun and then put his arms around her in a tight embrace. Mohini continued her efforts to free herself. Her bun unfastened and her long hair loosened and covered a part of her luminous body. Making enormous effort, she wriggled out of Shankara's grip and ran for her life. The chase continued till Bhagwan thought that enough was enough. Through his power, he exhausted Shankara to the extent that the latter regained his conscience and realized his blunder and the pathetic state to which he had been reduced while chasing Mohini.